How's it going?
Sean, we saw Keely Ringo and Nolan Smith have, pretty sizable roles, more than usual. Is that something that you can see continuing over these last 4 games here to maybe take some of the snaps off of maybe Josh Sweat or, whoever else there, maybe Slay or Bradbury?
Yeah, I think, those guys have done a good job through practice and earning some of those spots. And I think as we talk about it every week in terms of our rotations and our plans, those guys are certainly in that conversation to help us as we move forward.
What do you like about, what they've showed you?
Yeah, I think you see some quickness and speed for both of them, some twitch at the point of attack, and the ability for Keely to get out there and challenge and do some things there, which was nice. You try to use his length to his advantage. So, and then Nolan's obviously been physical at the point of attack, and you see his athleticism as well. So I think those guys are growing, they're learning the defense, and they keep getting better, and the coaches are doing a good job developing them.
Sean, on that, with Ringo, it seemed like he was in on some of those third and medium range. The last 3 games, passing-wise, quarterbacks have had a ton of success there in those situations. Where have you seen those issues, and where do you think those can be fixed?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've been targeting those and really trying to pinpoint where. And to be honest with you, it's been at a few different areas, and it's kind of been different each game or even each situation. Obviously, it always starts with the play call. You can always reflect and put them in a better situation after you see the play of what the route is and how you want to match that route differently based on the coverage and the system that we got up that week. And then I think there's just some other finer details that we want to keep refining and trying to help our guys be in better positions to go win those situations.
As a follow-up to that, you're second in the league in first and second down sacks. You're last in the league in third down sacks. Why isn't that translating the third down as much?
That's a good question. I think that's something that we're trying to explore. And I'm again, a big part of it goes to the play call. That you got to continue to be aggressive and continue to find spots and matchups that you like to be able to win on those situations. And then, we're obviously cognizant of time to throw and things like that and different situations that show up there. And, that's a function of rush and coverage working together with the play call. You got to get the quarterbacks off the spot. You got to buy some time in the coverage. And then we got to win when we get some matchups up front consistently. And we got to keep working to improve there.
Sean, after the game, Josh Sweat said that he's not used to our group not taking care of each other when it comes to pressure. Do you think that there are players not playing team defense and being more concerned with individual performance? I don't
have that sense. And I think the big thing is obviously after a game like that, it's a frustrating loss, it's a frustrating way to go. And we all want to get better. We all want to push to pull together and get better. And we're working our tails off to do that. And, the bright spot, I know sometimes it's hard for you guys to see the bright spot, but the bright spot is that, we've been there. We played some really good football games and some really good parts of games and done really good against some offenses. In the last 2 weeks, they're not our standard. And we accept that and we know that. And we're going to lean back into what we really believe in ourselves and our standard. And we got to go back and achieve that, from a coaching standpoint and a player standpoint. And it's going to be all of us working together to do that. And I think we got the guys and the leaders in this building to help us do that.
Well, there's a couple members of the secondary that said that things got simplified for that Cowboys game. Can you help explain exactly what was simplified and why that was necessary, especially when you have a lot of veterans in that defensive backfield?
Yeah, I think probably what they meant, and obviously you got to ask them exactly what they meant, but probably what they meant is that we're just trying to really hone in and be able to hang our hat on something that the guys can feel confident and go out and play with, and because ultimately that's the most important thing, is making sure from a schematic standpoint we've got enough answers and that the players have the answers on the field that they can go adjust to and respond to whatever an offense is giving us. And I think we did a good job of detailing that out last week, and and we had some spots that we're really effective at, and obviously some spots that we weren't. That we got to continue to improve upon, but we'll continue to build.
You said it starts with the play call. In terms of game planning, how do you vet yourself? Where's Nick Sirianni's role in that? And 13 games into the season, where have you found improvements in that?
Yeah, I think I think it always starts with the play call, and it'll always start with the play call, right? For me, at least. From my vantage point. So I think as we go through the game plan week in the process, we work together as a staff, and obviously Coach has his input on we meet early in the week and how he sees the game going, and how what his expectations are of the defense in terms of who we got to stop, how we got to stop them. But he does a good job of letting us try to figure out how, and then we get together as a staff. We got a lot of smart people on our staff, and we try to compile our ideas and fit what matches our players the best with our scheme, and then we go and call the game that way. And then, obviously, in terms of my process, you practice calling the game all week through different iterations and different methods, and we do that. And then we talk amongst each other. Hey, man, do you guys like this play call in this situation? Do you like this here? And we prepare our players that way and try to give them some anticipation of what to expect in certain situations.
So have you heard some of the outside criticism, and how do you handle it if you do hear it?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the job, right? That's part of it. There's always going to be criticism. I mean, go back every week of this season, there was criticism, based on different things that happen in a game. And when you play a couple games like the way we have and not the performance or the standard that we want to, that is going to magnify and amplify. And I get it. That's okay because everybody, fans, you guys, everybody's entitled to their opinions, But what we got to do is just lean into each other and really focus on our process and really focus on getting better. Because at the end of the day, from what we want to what everybody else wants in this city is to win, right? And we found ways to win, to get us to the point that we are. We're not where we want to be, and we're still growing there to get to where we want to be. And we feel good about doing that and working together to achieve our goals still.
What concerns you the most about the way the defense has played the last 2 games?
I think it's just we've been inopportune. We have not been able to get off the field when we need to get off the field. And third down and situational football, we got to be better. Third down, red zone, and those have been our bugaboos. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. That's been kind of our Achilles heel right now. And I feel really good about where we're going with it. I feel really good about our planning process towards it, and I feel really good about our players' mentalities and approaching that situation, and being able to put guys in spots to go win those. And again, we've won a lot of third downs early on in the year. We just haven't been able to do that this year, and that's hurting us. Obviously, as a defense, it increases our play counts, but it hurts us as a team. Our job as a defense is to get the ball back to the offense as fast as we can, and we haven't been able to do that effectively enough.
This is the second game in a row where you guys have given up a handful of scoring drives, over the course of a half or the entire game. I guess, how do you manage that on the sideline with players to maybe not get discouraged, and again, like you mentioned, like find answers quickly? Yeah,
I think that's the art of it. We've got a great group of leaders on the sideline. Our coaches do a great job of keeping guys in it, and really, it's about addressing what happened. What is the source of why did this happen? We had a couple series in the first half there that, we had a couple pressures called, and we blitzed right into some runs, and we either missed a tackle or misfit something. So obviously, it's a big deal. Right, and then the optics of that, and then, it leads to a touchdown drive and all that stuff. But for us, it's about focusing in on where we're supposed to be, doing some things, and then changing the call and getting us into better positions to be in those situations. And that's what we got to keep leaning into. And then, we came out in the second half, and we got a 3-and-out, got another 3-and-out, forced fumble touchdown, and then gave up a couple drives there and held them to some long field goals. But we got to find ways to maintain that for 60 minutes.
Speaking of specific calls, on 4th and 2 in the first quarter, you had 2 high safeties dropping shells. I mean, what were you expecting on that, and was there any consideration that they may actually hand the ball off?
Yeah, they did a good job. They broke their tendency. They've been 100% pass in that situation, and we thought we had a good call up to defend really everything there, because we were in a 6-up look where we thought we had all the gaps protected if they did try to hand one off. And, they oozed out for 4 yards on that run there, and so that's a good play call versus a good play call. I mean, that's part of the game, and we obviously want to win those situations more often than not. And that was a big one in the game.
Do you like the call still there?
No, I would. Of course, I would change the call. And any loss that we get, Jeff, I would change every call. That's just the reality of it, right? Because
sometimes I'm sure you're probably okay with it.
No. And I don't mean that in a
work. Sometimes you're like, hey, I mean, the numbers suggest that you're saying the numbers suggested that. But in that situation, though, to have 2 safety drops so deep when they only need 2 yards, to me,
right?
Are they throwing deep in those situations?
Yeah, the tape had indicated that they've had a variety of different routes there, and so we played it. But yes, for sure, to your question, yeah, I would want that call back. I'd want to be in a defense where we can fit that run a little bit more aggressively, and then stop them for sure. And that would be, maybe changing up the front structure and adding a movement in there instead of the way we played that there. But that's how I would have played that one.
Sean, what's your assessment of Jalen Carter's play to this point, and what's next for him?
Yeah, I think he's done a good job, and he's had spots where he's done really well, and then some spots that he knows that he's got to keep improving on. And he's staying with it. You know, he's Coach Rocker's doing a great job coaching him up and getting him ready, and then we got to keep leaning into that, and then he's got to keep refining it and keep helping us, and he's been able to help us. And so we got to keep him going that way, keep him trending in a positive direction.
So
As you look at the lack of interceptions of this season, is that a stat with luck variance to it, or do you think that is a function of scheme and things of that nature?
It's probably a little bit of all of that. You know, in my experience, it's probably a little bit of all of that. You know, I think we've had some opportunities where we didn't capitalize, and then some for sure scheme-related things where guys could be in better spots to go see the ball and go make a play on the ball. And some balls got to tip your way, you know, and do that. So I think it's a combination of all that, and we got to keep leaning in. We got to keep finding ways to go pluck that ball in the air. You know, we've done a good job in terms of our tackling and our forcing fumbles, and so we've been able to compensate that way with it. And obviously, Fletch had a huge one in the game as well. So we've been really good there. And then in terms of the interceptions, we got to keep leaning in and finding ways to put our guys in positions to go make those plays.
So you so confidently about getting some of these issues resolved. Why are you so confident that you will?
Because I think I know the people in the building. You know, I know the culture that we have. I know the staff that we have. I know the leaders that we have on defense. And everybody's excited about the opportunity that we've got ahead of us. You know, and the cool thing is we've got every goal still being to be reached ahead of us. And so we got to really lean into that. You know, I mean, we learn from our past, the good and the bad in the past, and then we got to move forward and own all of our responsibilities and our roles and then go master them.
Sean, a multi-layered question, if you will. How would you characterize your time working with Pete? What challenges do their offense present, and you know, how would you say your time there helps you prepare in a week like this?
Yeah, you know, it was a year, and it was great. You know, Coach, I think the world of him, and he knows that. I think he's an outstanding leader of men and leader of people, and really does a great job of obviously X and O's, but you know, in his leadership and culture. So I've learned a tremendous amount from him in that year and the opportunity that he gave me in terms of the experience there and how you can lean into it. Well, I think obviously you were able to practice against them a lot and see them every day, so you try to rely on some of that stuff, but every year and every week, you know, teams got to evolve and change, and they got to evolve, and they've got some new people that they're fitting in, especially in the front in their O-line play. And then obviously the skill guys are all really good, and they're all back. And Shane, I think, does an outstanding job of coordinating that and putting their guys in position. So we'll have our hands full for sure, but we're excited about this challenge.
Speaking of your time in Seattle, like when you had a chance to see DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett post, what makes them good at getting like separation and making creative plays, and how do you think your defensive backs can hold up against that?
Yeah, I think our defensive backs are looking forward to the challenge, and will do a good job of holding up against it. I think both those guys are professionals, and they have such different traits of how they get open and everything. And it was good to be able to see them in person and see exactly how they're being coached and what they're being taught. TK is obviously big, fast, physical, and can have a big catch race and can win in a lot of different ways on the field. And Tyler, I said this last year, I thought when I got there, to me he was one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. Really savvy in terms of how he can run routes and win to his leverage, and he's got a good catch radius for his size and got good quickness and speed as well. So those guys are really good professional receivers, and they do a good job at their craft, and we'll have a good challenge ahead of us, and we're looking forward to it.
You mentioned evolution a little bit there, Sean. You mentioned evolution. How much have the moving parts affected your ability to evolve this defense, or has it?
Yeah, you know, I think that's the art of coaching. You know, that's this league, and there's going to be some evolution, and there's going to be changes, and you know, the art and the mastery of it is as a coach, you got to be able to adapt to it. You know, and that's what it is. And I think we've done a pretty good job. I think can we be better? For sure, and we will be better. And we're looking forward to that challenge. But that's our art as teachers and coaches, is we got to be able to adapt.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. See you.